Okay, so get ready because today we are diving deep into some pretty wild stuff. We're tackling the beast from the earth, and let me tell you, this passage is packed with uh, symbolism,
Oh, yeah.
vivid imagery,
hmm
and who knows, maybe it can tell us a little something about the world,
Yeah.
maybe even our own.
It's a passage it's really sparked a lot of debate over the centuries.
Sure.
I mean, like every generation comes back to this text, tries to unlock its secrets.
Yeah, right off the bat, you get this beast rising from the earth, right?
Right.
But there's this weird contrast, horns like a lamb, but a voice like a dragon. It's like,
Yeah, it's like the cuss ones. It's like they took innocence and then just like, "Ah!"
yeah,
mixed it up with raw power.
yeah. It's like, what's going on
Yeah,
here?
yeah, and it's not just a mix though. It's like a cow. It's like they did it on purpose.
What a roll
Larks, right? Lambs, you think gentle, right?
Well, yeah.
Sacrifice even, but a dragon.
Uh,
That's all force, often destructive.
and definitely linked with deception.
You put those two together and it's like, whoa, this thing looks harmless on the outside, but it's definitely not.
Like the saying, don't judge a book by its cover.
Exactly.
But what do you think this is really saying about deception, especially when it comes to power?
It really makes you think about how, I mean, we can be misled so easily,
Yeah.
just by appearances.
Appearances can be deceiving.
Totally. And this beast, right, maybe it represents like those people, those figures who seem benign, even appealing, but
Yeah.
underneath it all, they're using that to gain power, manipulate others.
And then it gets even more interesting. This first beast pops up.
Right.
Even more dominant, right?
Okay.
And the earth beast, it's like this servant. And there's this whole thing about the first beast having this deadly wound.
Oh, yeah.
And it's healed. What could that be about?
Well, that wound,
Hmm.
it could symbolize some kind of weakness or a setback.
Yeah.
That is overcome, Think about it. Times in history when a dictator or a harmful ideology, it seems like they're defeated.
Right.
But then they come back.
Huh?
Stronger. Yeah. And this healing, it could be a symbol of that. This warning about power, how it can come back.
So it's not just about one leader, but like systems,
Exactly.
ideas,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
whole thing.
Like this passage, it's urging us to be vigilant. Not just against like one bad guy, but like against these harmful ideas, these systems that we thought, oh, they're gone, but they can come back.
Then things get really wild. The beast starts performing signs, right?
Oh, yeah.
Even fire from the sky. It's like
Yeah.
a supernatural showman.
And the text, right, it links these signs with deception.
Yeah.
So you have to wonder, are these real miracles or just a way to manipulate people?
Like those stage magicians, right?
Exactly.
All smoke and mirrors.
Illusions. To distract the audience, this beast, maybe it's doing the same thing.
It's like a reminder to be critical of what we see, especially when someone is trying to influence our opinions.
Oh, totally.
Think about propaganda.
Absolutely, yeah. This passage, it's like a warning. Don't fall for those empty promises, no matter how impressive they seem.
And then it gets dark. This whole image of the first beast that everyone has to worship.
Yeah.
And if you refuse, death penalty. That's a
Yeah.
That's a whole other level of control.
Yeah, this image. And the worship, it shows how dangerous blind obedience can be. And, it's interesting. The text, it doesn't actually say what the image is. It could be a statue, right, and an idol. But it could also be a symbol of some ideology, some belief system that people are pressured to conform to.
Yeah, yeah. And then there's the mark on the hand or forehead.
Oh, right.
You needed to buy or sell. It's like contactless payment gone wrong,
That's one way to put it.
but in a creepy way.
Yeah, it definitely brings up that idea of control,
Yeah.
economics, social. This mark, it could be like a sign of, allegiance to the beast system. And
Yeah.
if you refuse, you're excluded.
It makes you think about, times when people were persecuted for their beliefs or just didn't fit in.
Yeah.
The passage says it all. Small and great, rich and poor, free and slave. No one escapes this beast's reach.
That's the point. Yeah. It's like a message about how pervasive these forces of control, manipulation can be. They can reach every level of society, all walks of life.
So we've seen all the symbolism, these images, deception, manipulation, control, the pressure to conform. It all feels really relevant even today.
I think that's why this passage has resonated for centuries, It taps into those anxieties we have about power, about abuse of power, the choices we make when faced with these forces.
Yeah. It's a story about the danger of just blindly obeying, and why critical thinking matters.
Especially when we're dealing with people trying to control us.
It's a story that makes you think, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up our deep dive, I want to leave you with something to think about. What does this story make you think about? How power and deception work in the world today?
That's a good question.
How can we be more aware and make our own choices?
I really encourage you to go back, revisit the source material, see what other insights you might uncover.
These questions, they're timeless. Exploring them can help us